What is going on, everybody? My name is Jesse, aka your very own one and only Chi-Town Smark, and I have, once again, a few things I want to get off of my chest. AEW adds time to Rey Fenix's contract. Saraya re-signs with AEW. AEW management meets Shane McMahon at an airport again. WWE wants Malakai back and much more. But first, do me a favor, follow me on Twitter and Instagram. The links are right here on my luxurious desk. Make sure you like and subscribe, turn on alerts. Make sure those notifications are on so you are aware when I upload. Please hit that thumbs up, leave a comment below, and let's get into the show. Before we get started, guys, I need to let you know about what we have coming up on this channel this Sunday. If you're catching this before this weekend, on Sunday, September 29th at 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern, you guys are going to be getting the collab that you have all been asking for, and it'll be happening right here on this guy's channel. We're talking my boy JD. JD from NY will be right here. Also, my guest will be Ross himself from In the Clutch. Ross's Clutch is his handle on Twitter. If you don't know, guys, we are going to sit down and we're going to have a discussion about the Netflix Vince McMahon documentary. This is going to be huge. There was a ton of information that came out in that documentary. We're going to cover it. How it was covered by Netflix. Why exactly did Netflix choose to put this out right before they are about to have WWE exclusively on their network, giving us live Monday Night Raw episodes? Interesting stuff. So once again, all the more reasons to subscribe, hit that alerts button, because this is a collab that you guys are not going to want to miss. AEW appears to be adding injury time to Rey Fenix's contract. In this week's Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer reported that AEW is adding on injury time to Rey Fenix's current contract, which is nearly, but not quite, 1 year. Recently, online rumors had both him and his brother Pentagon El Zero Mero already signing with WWE, but both men are currently under AEW contracts, which made that impossible. Meltzer reported that AEW had Tony Khan made significant offers for the brothers to stay, but they declined. Meltzer reiterated that Penta will be going to WWE after his deal is up in the next 2 months, and that word is that WWE made him a competitive offer that solidified his decision to leave. He reported frustrations on Penta's behalf due to him not being allowed on AEW shows where CMLL wrestlers were already working, a situation that was eventually rectified in the company's promotional relationship. He was also unhappy about the way he was used. Penta hasn't wrestled in AEW since July, but has worked in Mexico several times since then. Fenix's last AEW match was also in July, but he also hasn't wrestled since a CMLL Trios match that same month. However, if they plan to use Fenix going forward, that remains to be seen. This is from Tony Khan, this is something that's normally straight out of WWE's playbook, more notably out of Vince McMahon's playbook. He has been notorious for adding injury time to your deal when your deal is about to expire. Now, it's a business move. If you sign someone to a certain deal and then they're injured for most of it, I don't understand why the company would not want to retain said talent to have them honor their deal. But the thing is here, the Lucha Brothers have pretty much one foot out of the door already. They weren't being used. They're still not being used. And everyone expects them to show up on WWE television anytime soon. So if Tony Khan wants to tack on an extra year or so to Rey Fenix's contract, it's within his rights to do. I understand that. But what are we going to do with him? Are we going to keep him just to shelf him? Just to spite WWE? I can understand wanting to do that just to spite WWE, but my issue is, while you're trying to do that, you're also spiting the Lucha Brothers, who have done nothing in your feud with WWE. All right, these guys have shown up to work. They've given us fantastic matches. They've given us fantastic pay-per-view spots. These guys have showed up to work their asses off, and maybe it's not necessarily a fair thing for them, but I understand business is business. So we shall see what happens with the Lucha Brothers going forward. Reported details on the Shane McMahon and Young Bucks being spotted together. Shane McMahon was first seen with Tony Khan a few months back, and ever since then there has been rumors that he could be showing up in AEW anytime soon. Those claims were just made stronger after he bumped into the Young Bucks at an airport. This seems to happen way more than it should, of these accidental run-ins at an airport with Shane McMahon. Well, more details have emerged on the meeting between both parties. An anonymous source at Cultaholic said that the Bucks and Shane were both on the same flight from New York to Salt Lake City. The same source added that the EVPs and Shane were seen speaking and laughing together on the flight. They were both in first class sections and of said flight, although McMahon was seated one row behind the Bucks. They also claimed that Shane said that it was a coincidence that he was on the same flight with the EVPs. I don't buy that bull crap for 1 second. Not for 1 second. I refuse to believe that these guys just happen to be leaving the same city at the same time on the same flights, and it was a complete coincidence. Look, maybe the run-in at the airport was a coincidence, all right? Let's pretend it was. Let's say they just happened to be booked on the same flight together by coincidence. Why were they both in New York together at that time? And why are they both going to Salt Lake City, Utah at the same time? That's where I feel like the coincidence is, you kind of lose me there. That'd be a fantastic coincidence that these guys were at the airport all together at the same time, a couple of months right after Tony Khan was at an airport with Shane McMahon. That's too much coincidence for me. That is way too much coincidence for me. That was planned. Something there was planned. It appears to me that we will absolutely be getting Shane McMahon in AEW. Again, it's not something that I'm looking forward to, but at the same time, I'm interested to see what happens with it. I'm interested. I don't think Shane McMahon is the end-all, be-all. I don't think Shane McMahon is the answer, the cure, the thing that AEW needs to get back on track. But you have my attention. I'm interested. Let's see where it goes. WWE interested in bringing Malakai Black back to the company. In the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer reported an update. He noted that WWE has been wanting Malakai Black back within the company. Per Meltzer, Black gave notice when Triple H took over in 2022, and WWE attempted to hire back a lot of the wrestlers that were released during Vince McMahon's tenure, especially the ones in AEW. Meltzer stated that Black's deal was up in early 2025, but AEW could possibly add a little injury time to that deal. Black has often been linked to WWE as his wife, Zelina Vega, works there. He previously had a prominent run in WWE as Aleister Black, as we all know, and he won the NXT Championship. WWE released him in June 2021, and he debuted in AEW in July. Black is a member of the House of Black, and he has won the AEW World Trios Championship. This is contract tampering. This is just flat out, to me, if you ask me, if you disagree, talk to me in the comments. I'll be happy to engage in this discussion with you guys. But this is just flat out contract tampering. Maybe not directly, but absolutely indirectly. This is contract tampering. Imagine this happening in another sport, another professional sport. Oh, the Vikings are interested in signing. They're interested in signing. This team's quarterback. They're highly interested in it. That's contract tampering. Who is putting the only thing that makes it that I would say is not tampering is if they can't necessarily prove what this report is saying. But outside of that, who is saying this? Who is saying, if I get to the bottom of who is saying this in WWE, I'm reporting contract tampering, man. You're not supposed to try to negotiate someone else's or poach someone else's stars while they're still under deals. Let's go back to the Lucha Brothers. These guys are still under deals. Penta came out and debunked one of these stories, saying it's not true. We're still under AEW contracts because they're still under AEW contracts. You can't be out there trying to poach talent from another company, through rumors and sources. That's bullshit. Someone is saying it, and then they're having someone print it, and then they're going to try to evade a tampering accusation because they didn't say it directly. This is fucking contract tampering, man. No or ands if or buts about it. I don't understand how they get away with this, but we shall see. We shall see. That's just my 2 cents, but to me, both of these stories feel like absolute contract tampering, man. Saraya reportedly re-signs with AEW for 1 year. Former AEW Women's Champion Saraya has reportedly re-signed a 1-year deal to stay in AEW. This according to Fightful. Fightful reported that AEW had an option for 1 year, but this new deal that runs until September 2025 may have been a separate agreement. After her WWE contract expired in July of 2022, the former Paige debuted for AEW in September of 2022. That's the at that year's Grand Slam event, and then returned to the ring 2 months later at Full Gear, picking up a win over Britt Baker. It was her first in-ring action in nearly 5 years due to what was thought to be a career-ending neck injury in WWE. Despite the half-decade absence, the 32-year-old wrestled more than once a month in 2023, winning the Women's World title in a four-way at All In London at Wembley Stadium. The England native held the gold for under 2 months, losing it to Hikaru Shida. She is set to take on Jamie Hayter in a Saraya Rules match on Saturday's Grand Slam edition of Collision, which was already taped. Her brother Zack signed a deal with AEW early this year, but has wrestled just 5 times for the company, with 4 of those matches being dark matches. I'm gonna be honest, it doesn't excite me. I really thought that Saraya probably would not resign. I did not think that AEW would resign her because they haven't used her. She's wrestled very little. She could be contributing to the back. Maybe she is helping out in a coaching role to the other women in the locker room. I could see her being an asset in that way. But for me personally, it just feels like that she is not in the ring as much as a full-time talent would normally be. And I am of the belief that they are being extra careful with her previous neck injury and they don't want to re-aggravate it. And if that is the case, then I would be skeptical to put her back in the ring at all, because all it takes is one bump. All it takes is one unfortunate mishap. If you're that concerned about her well-being, if you're that concerned about a pre-existing injury, then me personally, I wouldn't put her in the ring at all. But again, I could be wrong. Maybe there's another reason why she's not on TV. There's plenty of people not on TV. Maybe I'm way off on this one, but if that's the case, why take the risk at all? And one more for you guys. We have Zilla Fatu seems to have a little heat with GCW. The owner of Game Changer Wrestling had something to say following the company's split with Zilla Fatu. This week on X, Brett Lauderdale posted a less than subtle message from GCW, announced that the rising Samoan star would not appear in future events. He has this to say: wrestlers with under 40 matches in their career should still be setting up rings, not demanding flights and hotels for their management and entourage. Last Friday, GCW released a statement on X saying Fatu would not appear at GCW events in the foreseeable future. Per GCW, we tried our best to avoid this situation, but we have reached an impasse. We wish him the best, which seems to be the equivalent of we wish you the best on your future endeavors. Fatu is the son of the late great Umaga. Began wrestling in 2023 and has wrestled 31 matches, 29 which have been in 2024. Fatu has not publicly commented on the situation. Instead, he's been promoting upcoming appearances, including one this Sunday for House of Glory in New York, where Fatu is scheduled to defend his House of Glory Crown Jewel Championship. On that same card, TNA's Joe Henry will face former AEW star Joey Janela. I personally cannot wait to hear about the interaction between Joey Janela and JD. So, when House of Glory was here in Chicago a few weeks ago, I was in attendance. I got to meet the guy, have a little discussion with him, shake his hand. Great guy. He seems like he's going to do very well in this business. I think his family lineage just flows through his wrestling blood, and you can see it in his match. He has Zilla Fatu has it. He has it, and I had a talk with him about my buddy Armando Estrada and how it would be great if he had a collab with Armando Estrada when he eventually makes his ascension to WWE television. And he kind of gave me a reply and a little bit of an inkling of an idea for me to think that That's in the works. All right. I can't say that he said anything particular to say exactly that, but I will say this. He strongly hinted at it. And how great would that be? How awesome would that be to have Armando Estrada back with the son of Umaga? That'd be great. That'd be absolutely great, man. I mean, if you're an old school wrestling fan, the nostalgia would just be incredible. Incredible for that match, man. And guys, that is it. Thank you guys so much for coming and joining me and hanging out on this Friday afternoon. And don't forget, this Sunday evening, September 29th, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, the collab you guys have all been waiting for. We got me, you got JD, and you got Ross from In the Clutch. I can't wait, bruh. Make sure you're there. I'll see you guys next time. My name is Jesse, a.k.a. your very own one and only Chi-Town Smart, and I will see you then. Peace.